What if I told you that the system you trust to protect you is already broken? And worse, they don't care about you. Think about it. When was the last time the government showed up before disaster struck? When was the last time the promises of security and stability were actually delivered? The reality is harsh. In a true collapse, you are on your own. And the sooner you accept that, the better your chances of survival. Today, we are going to dive into a truth that makes most people uncomfortable. How to survive without the government, without the safety nets you've been told to rely on, and how to disappear from the radar when things spiral out of control. This isn't paranoia, this is preparation. And it might be the only thing standing between you and total chaos. The first thing you need to understand is that dependency is a trap. Modern society has conditioned us to depend on systems for everything: food, water, security, power, communication. But what happens when those systems fail? We've seen it before. Hurricanes, floods, wildfires. Every time disaster strikes, the pattern is the same. People panic, shelves empty in hours, and emergency services are overwhelmed. And here's the scary part, those are just small-scale crises. Now imagine a nationwide breakdown. No deliveries, no fuel, no police response. What then? Governments will tell you to stay calm, wait for assistance, and trust the process. But history proves otherwise. During Katrina, people waited for days without food or clean water. In Puerto Rico after the hurricane, entire towns were left without aid for weeks. Do you think your neighborhood will be any different? It won't. Not because the government is evil, but because they can't handle the scale. And in that moment, their priority won't be you, it will be maintaining control. That's why step one is psychological. Stop expecting rescue. When you cut that cord, you start thinking clearly, you begin to see options instead of waiting for miracles. And that leads us to the next critical point. So, if you're serious about survival, you need food, water, shelter, and security plans that don't depend on anyone else. That means stockpiling essentials quietly. Notice I said quietly because when chaos hits, desperation turns neighbors into threats. The people you wave to today could break into your home tomorrow if they know you're restocked. So, let's talk about going off the radar. What does that mean? It means reducing your visibility digitally and physically. Digitally, stop Don't broadcast your location, your purchases, or your prepping habits on social media. You'd be shocked how many people make themselves targets just by bragging online. In a real collapse, those posts become a roadmap for looters. Physically, being off the radar means looking ordinary while being prepared. No flashy gear, no tactical cosplay. Blend in, become the gray man. Your goal is to disappear in plain sight. Move quietly, act calm, and never reveal more than necessary. If people think you're struggling like everyone else, they'll move on. But if they sense you're sitting on resources, you've just invited trouble. Now let's break this down into practical steps. First, food and water. Forget the Instagram bunkers, you don't need $1 million setup. Start small. Rice, beans, canned goods, and water storage. Rotate supplies regularly and keep them in discreet places. Have at least 3 weeks of provisions, but aim for more if space allows. Water's critical, store it, and learn to purify it. Filters, tablets, boiling, know them all. Because without water, your clock runs out fast. Next, energy and power. The grid is fragile. One cyber attack, one major storm, and it's gone. When that happens, how will you cook? How will you stay warm? Invest in solar chargers, portable batteries, and backup fuel sources if possible. Even a small solar setup can keep your lights and comms alive when everyone else is in darkness. Security comes next. I know, this isn't about turning your home into a fortress with sandbags and turrets. It's about layered defense, strong locks, reinforced doors, security cameras that run on backup power, and most importantly, know who's coming and going. Know your neighborhood. If law enforcement disappears, you are your first and last line of defense. And yes, firearms are part of this conversation. If you're comfortable and legal where you live, learn how to handle and secure them responsibly. But remember, the best fight is the one you never have. Avoid conflict whenever possible. Then there's mobility. What if your home becomes unsafe? Do you have an exit plan? A secondary location? A bug-out bag ready to go? Even if your plan is to stay put, having the ability to leave fast could save your life. Keep that bag packed with essentials: water, food, first aid, tools, and important documents. And now, the part nobody wants to think about: community. Going solo might sound romantic, but in reality, survival is easier with trusted allies. Notice the word trusted. Choose wisely, because trust misplaced can kill you. Start building relationships quietly now, with people who share your mindset and skills. When the system collapses, these small circles will be lost. Finally, let's talk about mental resilience. Survival isn't just about gear and supplies, it's about mindset. The ability to stay calm under pressure, make decisions when every option looks bad, and push forward when your body and mind want to quit. Practice stress drills, learn basic medical skills, train your body. Because when the world falls apart, Your greatest weapon will be your ability to adapt. Here's the hard truth. The government isn't coming to save you. They don't care, not because they're evil, but because they can't. The system isn't designed to handle total collapse. It was built on the assumption that things mostly work. When they don't, you either have a plan or you become part of the chaos. Which one will you be? If this video opened your eyes, share it. The more people who prepare, the less panic we face. And stay tuned, because in the next video I'm breaking down the top mistakes preppers make that can actually get them killed. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.